There's music, and then there's psychedelics, and there's trauma, right? So, first of all, music is a healing force. There's nothing new about it. And it's nothing necessarily to do with psychedelics. The first music we hear is our mother's voice, and the first beat we hear is our mother's heartbeat. So whether you go to Africa or South America or North America or Siberia, wherever there are indigenous people, they just make beat, incredible rhythm. Rhythm is also nature, the 4 cycles, the 4 seasons, the rhythm of the rivers, the rhythm of the rocks, the sound of all these things. So music is really part of our programming as human beings when we're not cut off from nature. And when psychedelics are introduced, naturally people make music. In fact, in a Ayahuasca ceremony or a mushroom ceremony or an iboga ceremony or a peyote ceremony, you can't separate the plant from the music. The chants and the prayers, they're all musical. And the effect of the ceremony is very different than if you just take the plant but you don't use the music. So the music and healing, with or without psychedelics, is perfectly natural. With psychedelics, it's an automatic and indispensable part of the experience. I'm talking about the plant medicines now. So this just is a natural, they grew up together. Music and psychedelics grew up together. Now, trauma, like you saw in this movie, there was one psychedelic experience. I forget if we played music in the background, I'm not sure. I don't think so. But you see this man with prostate cancer. And he's been working so hard all his life to be liked by everybody, to be nice. So he must never be angry, and he must never be saying no to other people, and that's what makes him sick. That's why people get disease. I know that doctors have a hard time believing that, but it's just how it is. So psychedelics themselves, what they do is they, now Sigmund Freud, who got many things wrong, of course, but he got some things really right. And he said that dreams were the royal road to the unconscious. Well, actually, if he were living today, he might say that psychedelics are the royal road to the unconscious. Because the psychedelics remove the membrane of the defended mind, and you really get to experience what's underneath it. You get to experience the darkness, you experience the light. Sometimes it's frightening, the darkness is frightening, and the light is blinding, sometimes. So sometimes it's not so dramatic, but it can be. So the psychedelics will show you the trauma that you're carrying inside. If you want to get to know your trauma, you'll get to know it. But imagine if you can do that where there's natural healing music going on, where the rhythms of nature and the sweet voices of human beings and the harmonies that bring unity and the love that pours out of the shamans and the singers. What is that there to support you as you're experiencing your traumatic past? So it's a really powerful, powerful combination. And for natural reasons. Does that answer your question?
Yes, thank you.
Okay, thank you. When my book on addiction came out, in the English title is In the Realm of Hungry Ghosts, that was 12 years ago now, and I traveled around speaking about addiction and trauma and so on, and almost everywhere I went, somebody would put their hands up and ask me, what do you know about ayahuasca and the healing of addiction? And I said, nothing. And then I go to the next town and I give my talk on addiction and trauma and the brain and society and yada, yada, yada. And somebody put their hand up and say, well, what do you know about ayahuasca and the healing of addiction? I say, I'm sorry, I don't know anything. And this kept happening until I got really annoyed. You know, like, what do you keep asking me about the one thing I don't know anything about? You know, I just spent 3 years of my life pouring everything I know into this book, and now you're asking me about this funny plant from the Amazon jungle, until I realized that maybe the universe was knocking on my door. And so I had an opportunity to do the ayahuasca myself, and I got it. I got it within half an hour. Why people are asking me this? Because in 2 nights of ayahuasca, I experienced the deepest love I've ever felt. And I'd realized how much I closed on my heart against love, including in my personal relationships, including with my children, including with my wife, and then with the world. Why did I close it down? Because I was small, my heart was really hurt. And when your heart is hurt, you close it down. It's a protection. But that also makes life very, very less interesting. And one way to deal with that loss is to get into addictions. And so in 2 nights, I experienced 2 things. I experienced the pain that I've been running from all my life. I also experienced the love. And if you have that love, you don't have to run, do you? It's all right there. No, that was my experience. So I decided, okay, I get it. I'm going to work with this. So for the last 12 years, I've been working with it. I've been leading retreats for people with addictions and illness and all kinds of things. So if your friend is in recovery and they want to get to know themselves even deeper, I say by all means, go for it. As long as you do it somewhere where it's safe. As long as you do it with people that have integrity. As long as you do it with people who have deep knowledge and deep respect for the plant. So I know places like that. In Latin America, Amit runs Kiyumi trees. No, they don't work with ayahuasca because in Europe that's not legal anywhere. They work with mushrooms. In some place where it is legal. But anybody who wants to go deep, now I'm not an evangelist for psychedelics. Like I don't think they're gonna, recently somebody asked me to write an endorsement for a book, and I refused because the title was How Psychedelics Will Save the World. Well, I don't think psychedelics are gonna save the world, okay? I'm not a religious fanatic when it comes to psychedelics. But for your friend who had pain, that's why they were addicted, and he wants to get to know themselves more deeply, it could be a very, very positive experience in the right context, and only in the right context.